everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with another little news update. We have three news stories to talk about. One regarding a particular WWE superstar that Vince McMahon is reportedly hot on backstage. Also, in other news, Daniel Bryan's real reasons for not going to Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia have been reported on by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and also a Ring of Honor star has turned down a contract extension, which could have major implications going forwards, particularly in January. Let's waste no further time and let's crack on with all of the news. Now, according to a report by WrestlingNews.co, Vince McMahon has taken a particular interest in Lio Rush. It was already reported, I think last week, that he was feeding lines to Rush. You know, the headset that he wears when he's managing Bobby Lashley, and he always tries to rile up the crowd in a very heelish fashion. Well, apparently Vince is feeding him lines for that, but also apparently it has been confirmed by a source close to WrestlingNews.co that Vince is very interested in the potential of Lio Rush. The report states that the reason why Rush is on Raw is that someone in creative saw one of his promos online and gave it to management. Vince McMahon then saw it and decided that he needed to be on Raw as Lashley's spokesman slash manager. There's no further news yet on why the Lucha House Party appeared on Monday Night Raw, or whether that can indicate maybe a new influx of cruiserweight talent onto the main roster programs, because obviously the cruiserweights used to be on Raw and then it all kind of got swept under the rug. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, I guess, because out of nowhere, suddenly you've got like Lince Dorado and Kalisto on Monday Night Raw having a match with the Revival. Obviously, Lio Rush isn't so much a member of the Cruiserweight division anymore. He is more focused on being Lashley's heel manager on Raw. But it's interesting to see which superstars Vince takes a particular interest in. I remember a news story from much earlier this year, maybe even the back end of last year, that apparently he found Noam Dar funny. And that's why, you know, the Alicia Fox promos got over so much, or got so much of a chance, and they really rammed that storyline home. I don't know, it's quite interesting to see which superstars Vince decides that he enjoys more than others, and I guess the reasons for that remain unclear. Vince McMahon, like Evolution, is a mystery. Apparently, going back to the WrestlingNews.co report, the plan was always for Lio Rush to be kind of a cowardly heel manager hiding behind a bigger guy. Allegedly, he was meant to be in this role with Babatunde once he got called up to the main roster, but Babatunde is still in the Performance Center and hasn't yet broken through. So it seems like they've kind of just hot-shotted Lio Rush to Bobby Lashley to help get heat on him, rather than wait for Babatunde to come up. But, you know, we'll see how this progresses in the near future. Moving on now to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, where Dave Meltzer reported on why Daniel Bryan refused to travel to Saudi Arabia. Interestingly, apparently, he made this decision before the whole political scandal involving the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. While there's little doubt that the developments since then have probably just only intensified Daniel Bryan's stance on not going to Crown Jewel, apparently the original reasons centered around two things. One, Saudi Arabia's stance on homosexuality, which Bryan viewed as homophobic, and also the fact that Sami Zayn wasn't allowed to compete at the Greatest Royal Rumble due to his Syrian ancestry, something that Daniel Bryan viewed as racist. Now, I mean, I personally commend Daniel Bryan for standing by his beliefs, not going to Crown Jewel. But again, it's important to remember that a lot of the superstars who are going over may also have moral objections to performing there, but simply aren't in a strong enough position within the company where they can really take a stance like Cena, like Bryan, and refuse to go. In fact, on SmackDown, we may have even seen, a lot of people have theorized online, that Bryan's submission loss to AJ Styles was kind of a little punishment, kind of a little retaliation from WWE management because he refused to go to Saudi Arabia. Not often these days do you see high-level babyfaces like Daniel Bryan lose by submission. It's quite odd to see him tap out, and immediately when that happened on SmackDown, I thought, ooh, this is a little bit strange. But I mean, one thing's for certain, we're not going to be seeing Daniel Bryan on Friday at Crown Jewel, nor will we be seeing John Cena, but we will be seeing Renee Young. And probably Hulk Hogan too. Sticking with the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it has also been reported that Hangman Adam Page has turned down a new contract for Ring of Honor. Now, Meltzer reported this in a very sort of this is obvious kind of way. He said, to the surprise of nobody, Adam Page has turned down a new contract. The Young Bucks and Cody also haven't signed anything, but it has been pointed out that this doesn't really mean anything yet. It will start to mean things in January. I guess that's when those contracts expire. And there's been a lot of news floating around about what the Elite, or the Extended Elite, I guess, are going to do. The Elite, of course, consisting of Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and by extension, Cody, Hangman Page, and Marty Scurll. It did hit the news in the past few days that Cody, on the Chris Jericho Cruise, cut a promo where he swore to God that he wasn't going to go back to WWE, which got a big raucous reception from all of the Smarky fans on the cruise ship. This is very interesting because, again, I saw some reports floating around that Cody didn't realize there'd be internet on the ship and that it would get reported so instantly. But also, it's the first time that any member of the Elite sort of faction have really spoken on the matter. That's all the news for now. We'll keep you updated with all of these stories if any big developments do happen. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Jack the Jobber. You can follow all of us at Cultaholic and check out our Patreon too, patreon.com/Cultaholic. And never forget, of course, if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button and to join us.